It's time to cook with Susan Beck. Today I thought I'd show you how to make rice in a rice cooker. Not that I think that this tool is something that everyone needs to own. I'm really not even that into kitchen gadgets. My sister gave it to me a couple years ago, but I found that I really do like this little machine. And then I started talking to one of my coworkers, and she has one and she loves hers also. So anyone who has it does really enjoy them, and you can buy them for less than $20. You can buy some really expensive ones as well. It'll cook brown rice, it'll cook white rice, as well as there's a steamer in here for cooking vegetables that turn out perfectly. So in this appliance, I guess we'll call it here, I have a heavier metal unit with a sensor in the bottom that keeps track of the temperature. This aluminum pan sits on top of it, and as the pan heats, the water will come to a boil. When the pan senses that the temperature is going above 212 degrees, which is where water boils, that's when it knows to turn off. So we'll simply start our rice by pushing this button down, and when it's done, it will pop up to a keep warm point. It is an electric appliance, so we have our cord here to put into the wall as well. Rice, today I'm going to do brown rice. When I'm doing brown rice, I need 1 cup of brown rice for every 2 cups of water. Today I want 6 total cups of rice when it's done cooking. So I am going to put 2 cups of brown rice into my colander, and normally I would do this right over the sink and let this drain. I like to rinse my rice, especially the white rice, and I rinse my white rice until there's no cloudy water coming back through the little sieve here. My brown rice never seems to have quite as much. Alright, let's set that on a little plate so that we don't have water dripping everywhere. Alright, so there is my washed rice. And into my aluminum pot here, there are some numbers on the side. And those are going to be kind of hard to see, but there are numbers going up the side here. And if I am going to put in 2 cups of brown rice, then I want 4 cups of water. What I found out is each of those lines is really how much rice I'm putting in, not how much water I'm putting in. So I have 2 cups of rice, so I'm going to go to line number 2, which is actually 4 cups of water. So my water is in. Next goes in my rice. A little more there. And I will then simply put on the lid and press this down to cooking. So it's going to slowly heat up this bottom unit. It'll get it to a boil, then steam will start to rise. There's a little hole here for the steam to escape, and it will bubble and carry on and do its own thing. Now the great thing about, why would I actually say maybe you would like to have one of these? Well, for one thing, I think the rice comes out fluffier and just more like the rice you get when you eat Chinese in a restaurant. I also think that it turns out perfectly every time in terms of its doneness. It seems like as long as you get your water and your rice proportions correct, you don't have any issues with that. This little machine just knows when to stop. Which leads to a third reason why I like this. I can set this on, and then I can go make the Chinese that we're going to have for supper, or whatever dish I would like to have and serve rice with. So this unit can just sit off to the side. I don't have to worry about it. Another thing, number 4, it keeps the rice warm. Like I said, when this is done, it will automatically pop to the warm gauge on here, and it'll just let it sit. So if I'm not finished making the stir fry, the rice will not be getting cold. I also like tools that I can use other things for. There's recipes for rice pudding. I have not tried that yet, but like I said before, the steamer is fantastic. I own a little steamer that I can put in my own pot and just kind of guess the water and have to check the vegetables constantly. Well, this again, when I turn this pot on, it just cooks the vegetables to the absolute perfect tenderness. There's a little list in the booklet that comes with this that tells you how much water to use with these. So I might do another video at some point and talk about this, but this little cup also came with it. It tells you how many milliliters of water to fill. So for example, if I was going to do half a pound of broccoli, then I would put in somewhere between 40 and 60 milliliters of water. What I found is, 60 will take longer for the steam to go, so if you like your broccoli a little more done, put in the higher amount. If you like it more tender crisp, put in the lesser amount. But more on that on another day. So this is just going to cook away here, and it will take a little while, especially brown rice. About 5 minutes into my rice being in this rice cooker, you can see that there is vapor starting to form on the top of the lid. It is bubbling away now, steam is rising, button is still down on cook. Alright, as you can see, the rice is almost done. You can see it down in there. There's just a little steam still rolling. Now, a word of warning, when you use your rice cooker, if it's like mine, when I'm making a full pot, I tend to get steam that just kind of puddles over and goes back to water on my counter. My final word of warning would be that the steam coming out of that hole is extremely hot. So if you're using this with children, remind them to be waiting for this little gauge to pop to warm, and then it's recommended with white rice to let it sit for at least 5 minutes and brown rice for 10. Alright, so our rice is done cooking. Our little gauge here has popped up to the warm setting, and it's been sitting here for almost 10 minutes. And you can see the nice fluffy rice in here. It's recommended that you take a fork and just kind of lightly fluff it before serving. Alright, time to put a little of that brown rice on my plate here. I've got an egg roll, and it was the perfect amount of time, really. I was busy making stir fry while that cooks. I've got a little beef and pea pods and cashew stir fry to serve up here today. But let's start by just tasting that rice. Very good. A lot of texture because it's brown rice, but I like how it's got that stickiness that you get when you eat Chinese takeout or in a Chinese restaurant. As for how to make the stir fry, we'll save that for another day.